My next guest was busy planning his circus career while his mates were heading off to uni. Damien Syred dreamt of becoming a classic theatre owner. A theatre of circus, a circus owner. And yes, he achieved that goal in 2007. Damien has come along quite a way since selling hot dogs and show bags during his school holidays at stints of the circus shows in Perth. He now owns a big top, and his big top has arrived on the foreshore of St Kilda, where, at the moment, he as producer is putting on a wonderful show called Ladyboy Spectacular. And Damien's on the line right now. Damien, nice to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations, Damien. They're on Wednesday night. A marvellous show. Marvellous.
Oh, wonderful. Glad you enjoyed it.
Absolutely. You're walking past us, we were going out, and I was thinking it was you, but I wasn't really sure. You walked past and said hello to my wife as we were moving out, and I thought, that has to be Damien. You were up there introing this on Wednesday night for us too, weren't you?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Mate, what you've done is just unreal, but I want to come back with you first of all, and your experience in circus. This came to you when you were a kid, obviously at school, and your other mates, as I said in the intro, were going to uni. You had your heart and your eyes set on the circus. Why?
I just fell in love with it. I actually, so I own Circus Royale, and that was one of the first circuses I saw as a child. I just fell in love with not only its performance, but also like seeing the performers putting up the tent and just sort of the close-knit community that the circus is, and I guess the idea of travelling around Australia, being able to bring this show to people.
Is it very much like the old days of circus where you'd sleep on site and you'd shower on site and go in and do your act and then come back and sleep and do the same thing again?
Yes, yes and no. Everyone has sort of their own caravans now, and very modern. I know, some people go, "Oh, you live in a caravan," and then they come along and actually see it, and say, "Oh, it's kind of bigger than my apartment," or something like that. So it is like that, but as well, it's we definitely don't miss out on anything. We have so everyone has their own kitchens and bathrooms and dishwashers and washing machines and everything you sort of find in your home anyway. So. Well,
we've had you down here in Melbourne, of course, with the Circus Royale at times. I've seen that around the place, but didn't associate you with that. But now I will, as we see the Circus Royale and do things with that. Now, you are using the big tent, aren't you, that you're using in your circus environment for this particular show?
Well, we've got a few big tops. So this one wasn't in use at the moment, and I've always I fell in love with the Thailand Ladyboy shows when I was in Thailand.
Yeah.
And I just thought that there was nothing that, like, I've seen plenty of sort of drag shows and things here in Australia, but nothing that's sort of like on that sort of scale. And so that's why I thought, that there's so many Australians that go and see these shows in Thailand, but at the same time too, there's so many Australians that don't get the opportunity to go overseas. So I wanted to sort of put this show together and bring it to them.
Damien, my wife and I have been to Thailand about 4 times now, and each time we go, like you just said, we go along to the Ladyboys and see their show, and it is phenomenal. So many tourists get to see this particular show, and to have it here on our shores is just wonderful. It's I said in a review I did with this yesterday, it's where burlesque meets Vegas, and I think it's all of that, isn't it?
Yes, definitely, and I just love the energy they put into the performance, and you can really see in the audience that they actually love what they're doing, that they have fun up there, and they do. They love performing and they love pleasing people.
One of the lovely things to see in this production that you brought out is that there's so much comedy involved in it. Now, when I've seen the shows overseas, there's been a little bit of comedy, but not quite as much as what you've put into this show. And I really think that adds so much in that 2-hour spectacular you got on. It's brilliant.
Well, I wanted to add comedy because the Thais in general, they do like to play a lot of jokes. They do have like a different sense of humour to us. But they do like to, they're forever like making fun of each other or playing jokes on one another. So we try to incorporate a bit of that into the show because I do think it does add to the performance as well. Well,
it certainly has, and those 20 girls on stage and the 5 guys you've got just do a wonderful, wonderful job of doing that. Yeah, there's a skit with darts, and I'm not going to spoil it here because the listeners, I want to come along and have a look. But whether you're in the audience and you're a little bit petrified by what's going on, or whether you're the guy on stage, mastering balloons between your legs and waiting on these darts to go pop, and whether it's going to hit you or not, that is Marvellous. Good bit of theatre.
Yes.
Good bit of theatre.
And that was actually because the Thais are very good at impersonating and seeing things and adapting them to suit themselves, and they actually picked that up when they were rehearsing on my circus. We had a sim like with knife throwing, and they sort of, you could see them all, and and then they're playing out the back with the props, and next thing they're telling me that they need that taken over here because they're going to put something like that in the show. But as they do, they put their own style to it, and it's something that I enjoy watching, and I think the audience enjoy that bit of audience participation and being part of the show.
I think that's important. If you can involve your audience, you've captured them, haven't you? And to do that, it's just great. You had a guy sitting in the front row there from Channel 9, one of the reporters, and they were playing up to him on Wednesday night, and it was so good to see. I think you were sitting just beside him, or very, very close. But, it was great. And the other one I enjoyed too, look, I enjoyed all of them, don't get me wrong, but the Titanic. The way they did that and sent up the Titanic was brilliant. And the way that girl wobbles her eyes around is just brilliant.
Yes, I love her facial expressions and her eyes, and yes, I do enjoy watching her perform.
And you know what took the cake for me on the night? The showstopper for me was the three nuns singing "I Will Follow Him."
Oh, that's good to know.
Isn't that good? That's a great one. It really is. Damien, tell me, how did you go about hand-picking these girls to come out and do the show?
I spent quite a lot of time going to the different shows around Thailand and sort of picking out performers that stood out for me, performers that were sort of versatile in what they could do, and obviously I try to find, a good mix of like glamorous girls and different sort of, like, because they all look different, and we've got a couple of girls that sort of look sort of try and look more Indian and those sort of things. So I sort of try to explain it as taking the stars from all the different shows, because I do believe we have a really good group of girls in the show, and really different styles of performance as well.
One of the things I liked on Wednesday night is before and after the performance, they're out at front of theatre there, and you can have photos taken with them. They were just so lovely. You could talk to them. Their English is very, very good, and they're very personable.
Yes, and Thais are like that in general.
Yes.
They're very loving people, and they do enjoy talking to people after the show and making sure that they've enjoyed the show, most importantly.
And you've got this in a cabaret type environment, which is nice. It's set around tables. There is food and drink available too, and I think that's a plus for what you're doing.
Yes, well, I wanted to try and bring a little bit of Thailand with the show as well, so that's why we have the Thai food, and just sort of trying to set the atmosphere a bit like Thailand, because I do think that all adds to the show as well.
Ladyboy Superstars is down there next to the Palais Theatre. Now, it's under the big top. You can't miss it. There's plenty of parking too. And it's on until the 24th of September, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Now, they've got a couple of nights off. They're not performing Monday and Tuesdays. That's fair enough. They've got to have some time off to go and visit our great state here of Victoria. And the other nights they're there. And some weekends too. Now, there's a matinee tomorrow at 4 o'clock, as well as tomorrow night at 7:30. Sunday, you've got a matinee on too, Damien, 1:30.
Yes, and 5 o'clock in the early evening.
And then that runs through that vein until Saturday the 24th of September. Now, look, you can get VIP tickets, and they are a little bit more expensive. But, look, the average price is around about $59. It's a great show. It's a great night out, Damien. I just hope all of my listeners come along and see this, because it's a hoot. It really, really is. It's wonderful.
Oh, great. Well, thanks so much. I'm so glad to hear you enjoyed it.
Totally, Damien. I couldn't fault it at all, pal. So I might even pop back again and have another look at it. I loved it so much. You take care, my friend, and I dare say you and I will cross paths when the circus is back in town.
Yes, make sure you keep an eye out for us.
I will indeed, the Royale. Thanks, mate. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, bye-bye to you. Lovely chap. There he is, the man who is the producer behind all of that, Damien Syred. And it's called Lady Boys. It's on right now. Do keep it in mind. It's on the St Kilda foreshore under the big top. You can't miss it. And you can go and book online by just putting in all the W's, ladyboycabaret.com.au.